are going to get started. It's 4 o'clock. So welcome everyone to our Northern Nevada Disaster Cycle Services Volunteer Opportunities and Updates meeting that we have every week at 4 p.m. Once a month, we have it in person, and that will be next month. This week, it is virtual only. I'm Bear Lewis, the Disaster Program Manager here in Northern Nevada. Always include my contact information on the agenda so that you can refer back to it later. I'll share this agenda and the video of this meeting out via email to everyone tomorrow. So if you didn't have an opportunity to catch us live and be here in person to ask questions, please reach out to me after you've watched the video and let me know if you have any questions or anything you'd like follow up on. And then I'll share it out with the group because they may have similar questions. So I've already hit the record button, so you are all being recorded. Thank you so much for attending. Turn off your camera if you don't want anyone to see you on the recording, and just know any questions that you ask will be recorded. We're going to dig right into our upcoming events and opportunities because we have a ton happening in April. And I expect May to be as busy, and then things will kind of taper off a little bit in June and July as they typically do with the summer months for a couple of reasons. First, it's hurricane season. So there's a lot of disaster operations going on that people can deploy to. And we roll right into wildfire season after that. So our summer months tend to be a little bit less heavy on our preparedness and our community activities and a little bit heavier on response. So for April and May, we're looking busy for preparedness. Tomorrow, we have the Washoe County Emergency Managers Breakfast. It's typically the first Friday of each month, but due to a training schedule conflict, they're having it on the first Wednesday of this month. So it's at Denny's at 205 Nugget Avenue. Reach out to Jim Rich if you're interested in attending. He will be going. And it's really for volunteers who are interested in pursuing government operations or community engagement and partnerships, really engaging with those first responders. Our emergency management teams are there. Emergency managers from the Naval Air Station are there. So an opportunity to really once a month meet and greet all of those individuals, find out what different activities are going on throughout Washoe County and network. So if you're interested, please reach out to Jim. If you do not know how to get a hold of Jim, please reach out to me and I'll give you his contact information. I will also probably add it to the agenda before I send it out tomorrow. Any questions about our monthly Washoe County Emergency Managers Breakfast? Okay. On Thursday, we have at 10 a.m. our Northern Nevada All Lines of Service team meeting that happens weekly. It's hosted by our executive director and includes report outs from all of our lines of service. So business operations, our communications team, disaster cycle services, volunteer services, and service to armed forces. So if you guys are interested in knowing about what other activities are happening within the Northern Nevada chapter outside of disaster cycle services, or other opportunities to volunteer to support those lines of service, this is the meeting for you. And you can attend in person at the Reno chapter office. I will be there this Thursday, along with the other team members. Tiandra will be hosting, as I mentioned, or you can attend virtually via this link, and we'd love to see you. Also on Thursday at 3 p.m., Pershing County is having their continuity of operations planning webinar. It's a 1 hour long webinar. Again, reach out to me or to Jim Rich if you're interested in attending. And by attending, I mean virtually, and we'll get you the link for that and the registration information. It's again for those who are interested in supporting our government operations teams or our community engagement and partnership teams, really doing those planning efforts for response with our county partners. So that is in Pershing County, which is the Lovelock area. if you guys are not familiar with where Pershing County is. Little bit east on Interstate 80 from Reno for us, and a little bit west for Sarah Stevenson, who's on the line. Thank you for joining us, Sarah, and hello. Also on Thursday from 5:30 to 7, we have our regional disaster action team meeting. So we have a chapter disaster action team meeting every month on the third Monday of the month, where we really focus on our responses here in the Northern Nevada chapter area. This meeting is for the whole region. So it's all of Utah, Nevada, and changes or different things that may apply regionally to our disaster action team. So if you are interested in attending, and I do encourage all disaster action team members to attend, please register via this link. Also, if you're just curious about how our disaster action team functions or operates, please join us. It's not just for disaster action team members. Any questions about that or the other events I've mentioned so far? Okay. On Saturday from 2 to 5 p.m., we are engaging about 50 to 100 University of Nevada, Reno students who are interested in volunteering their time in supporting our efforts. We're going to be doing a Be Red Cross Ready presentation to them, which is basically all of the information they need to personally prepare for a disaster. And then they're going to go out within walking distance of the UNR campus and do some door hanging to help us promote our home fire campaign team and get requests for smoke detector installations. So if you guys are interested in supporting at that event, we just need about 2 to 3 volunteers. It's not going to take a lot of work, but just that initial coordination at the beginning, helping register people as they show up, and then giving the teams the different maps and all of the materials that they'll need to go out and do that. So if you're interested in supporting, it's going to be at the Rotunda at UNR, and they're serving Cane's Chicken from 4 to 5 p.m. after everybody does their volunteer work. So please let me know if you're interested in supporting, or if you're a Be Red Cross Ready presenter and you're interested in presenting to those students before they go out. Any questions about that event, you guys? Okay. And that's for anyone who's interested in supporting. No training is needed. On Monday, we have a new class, a new disaster action team class. It is not for those of you, unless you would like to check it out, who are service associates, who are disaster action team service associates, but it is for our disaster action team specialists who are working on promoting to disasters action team service associate, or you may be required to take it if you're interested in promoting from service associate to supervisor, but that I need to check on. We are having the first training on Monday from 3 to 6 p.m. It's going to be in person at the Reno chapter office, and you can sign up in Edge using this link. Please note, you have to be signed into Edge for the link to work. Otherwise, it's just going to take you to that sign-in page. So if you end up on the sign-in page, sign in and then go back to the link and it'll take you to it. Or you can search for Disaster Action Team Intermediate, and it should come up in the search for you. Does anyone have any questions about that new training or who it's for? Okay. If you guys do think of any questions, or if you'd like to be at that training, but you can't remember how to do the registration, reach out to Jim Rich for details. And here is his information. On Tuesday at 10 a.m., we're having wildfire preparedness education training. That is our program where we go out and we work with homeowners who we've identified as being on that urban wildland interface, where their homes may be more susceptible to wildfires encroaching upon their homes. And we walk around their homes and talk really about that 0 to 5 foot zone from their home out 5 feet, home hardening tactics they can take, vegetation and debris removal that they can do to help prepare their home better for wildfire resistance. If you guys are interested in supporting in those efforts, we are going to be focusing on Washoe Valley and some of our areas in the North Valleys and the Dew communities that are susceptible to wildfire. If you're interested in joining that team, please reach out to Sherry Reisinger for details. And I, again, will include her information in this agenda before I send this out tomorrow. Really great opportunity for us to help support those who might be impacted by wildfire. And this year could be a doozy of a wildfire year because we had so much water last year and no fires. And then we've had a pretty wet and long spring so far this year. So a ton of new growth this year, and the growth last year has created a lot of fuel for wildfires throughout our northern Nevada region, but especially in those areas that are already prone to wildfire. So we'd love your help doing outreach, and it starts with the training. So join us next Tuesday at 10 a.m. if you're available. Also, on Tuesday from 2 to 3 p.m., the region, so all of Utah, Nevada, is having their disaster disability integration workshop or work group meeting. So any of you guys who have a gap or a group activity position in disability integration, or if you're interested in disability integration, this is the meeting for you. And again, this is all volunteers from all of Utah, Nevada, talking about disability integration. For those of you who are not familiar with what our disability integration teams do, is during a disaster, especially when we are opening shelters and offering services to clients who've been impacted by disaster, our disability integration team makes sure that it's accessible to all people. So those who may have access and functional needs, can they access our shelters as well as those who don't maybe have access and functional needs? Can they access the resource centers where we're offering services and providing information as easily as people without access and functional needs? And then is there adequate transportation to and from where we're offering services for those who might have those access and functional needs? So our disability integration team does a lot in readiness for our response efforts. And hopefully there's a lot of opportunities for them to help prepare individuals, especially those with access and functional needs, how they can focus more on individual disaster preparedness. So they know more what to do and how to cope a little bit easier should they be impacted by disaster. So if you guys are interested in supporting that team or finding out more, asking questions from other team members, that's the meeting for you. Does anyone have any questions about disability integration or our wildfire preparedness education training? Okay. And please, if anyone can let me know if we see hands raised, I am not able to view that when I am sharing my screen. So if you guys could just help me be aware so I don't miss any questions, I would really appreciate it. Also, on Tuesdays are a busy day for us. We have our preparedness work group meeting that happens weekly. Next week, it's going to be in person. All of our meetings are going to be in person after 3 p.m. at Longboards Beach Fired Pizza in Golden Valley. You will also be able to attend virtually if you're not able to attend us for some pizza, but we'd love to see you in person. Golden Valley is part of the North Valleys area in Washoe County and is one of our DO communities. So I chose Longboard's Beach Fired Pizza because they're an independently owned business out there, and the way that we can increase our engagement with the opportunity or with the community is by going to their restaurants, going and seeing the different establishments and being I can't even think of the word, a shopper at all of those places. So hopefully you'll be able to join me next week and other team members for our preparedness work group meeting at 3, and then our all volunteers opportunities and updates meeting at 4. And then we're going to have a pizza pie dinner at 5 with everybody who's there. And all volunteers are welcome. And I'm going to, Red Cross is going to provide the pizza for Red Cross volunteers. Family members and friends are welcome as well. I don't know if I'll have the budget to cover the cost of their meal though. So please bring everybody on board. I'm going to cover as much of the expense as possible with our regular meeting funds. But if family and friends come, I may not be able to cover everybody expense-wise, but we want everybody to feel welcome. Here's the address information. I am asking for everyone to RSVP just so that I can get a head count and kind of get an idea of the expense and make sure we have enough meeting space available. I did call today and they said we have outdoor space if there's not enough indoor space. So if it's chilly, we might just need to bundle up if we're going to end up outside. But I still think it's a really fun opportunity for us to engage out there in that community and eat some good pizza. They got some good reviews, so I'm hopeful. Has anyone on the line ever been there? All right, well, it'll be a new treat for all of us then. So I hope to see you guys all there next week. If you want to help me coordinate or plan for that meeting, please reach out to me via text or email or call and just let me know, and I'd love to have your help and support. We have a ton coming up after that. I am not going to go over each of these individual things, but I am going to highlight a couple of them. For our new volunteers on April 10th, we have our regional orientation for new volunteers. You can register via this link. I strongly encourage any new volunteers who have not attended an orientation to do that. You just get a lot of background information and opportunity to ask questions about Volunteer Connection or the other systems that we use. So if you're interested, please check it out. If you even are a volunteer that's been around for a while, but you would like to attend the orientation just to see what they talk about, you are also welcome to attend. And it might be a good opportunity for you to share some of your experiences with new volunteers. I'm going to skip over the IHCC meeting, but please put these things on your calendars and read the description if you're interested. Saturday, April 13th, so a week from this upcoming Saturday, we're having what we're calling a micro sound the alarm event in Fallon. For those of you who are not aware of what our sound the alarm events are, it's basically when we work in a community, a particular area that we've identified in a community, and we work with partners and volunteers, and we do as many smoke detector installations as we can. This one is called a micro sound the alarm event because we're focusing on all of Fallon as opposed to just a neighborhood in Fallon, and it's all going to be by appointment only. So we're doing as much outreach as we can between now and the 13th. And by outreach, I mean hanging door hangers, dropping off flyers with businesses and community partners in the area, encouraging them to call and schedule an appointment for that date for our home fire campaign team to go and install smoke detectors. So if you have time available and you're interested in just doing some walking out in Fallon, please let me know. I'm going to be going out there as often as I can in the next couple of weeks and just doing as much outreach as possible. If people call and schedule appointments on April 13th, that's great. If they can't do it on the 13th and we end up getting another date on the calendar in the future, that's great as well. So just keep me posted if you're interested in either supporting on that date on the 13th and helping our home fire campaign team out, or if you're interested anytime between now and then, going out and hitting the streets and dropping off some flyers and doing some outreach. I'd be happy to have the help. And it's just that many more people that we might get on the schedule to get those smoke detectors installed, making their homes and households that much safer. So let me know if you're interested. Any questions from anybody about that micro sound the alarm event on Saturday the 13th? Okay. Some of these other things I'm going to scroll right over, but check them out when you receive the agenda tomorrow in your email. Another kind of cool one that's coming up, if you guys are available, it is by invitation only. So let me know if you want to attend so I can reach out to Washoe County Emergency Management. But they're having I'm going to call it a seminar on coordinated special events management from 9 a.m. to noon. It's called Your Problem is My Problem and My Problem is Yours. And it's presented by those who plan and coordinate the South by Southwest Festival in the city of Austin. So they have a lot of great information, practices that they do for handling large events and crowds of people, and especially when it comes to disaster preparedness. So if you're interested in attending, let me know or let Jim Rich know, and we'll get you the details and the invitation that's needed. Also on the 17th, we're going to be out in Fallon at the Paiute Shoshone tribe doing Be Red Cross Ready and Hands Only CPR. Also a spaghetti dinner. It's at their senior center. If you're interested in supporting, please let me know. We already have presenters, so we don't need any more presenters, but we can always use support. And if you're just curious what our presentations look like at community centers, or if you're interested in having spaghetti, please join us. We're going to be leaving the Reno office. We're going to carpool about 4:30. So if you want to leave with us, please reach out and let me know. Those are all of the things I'm going to cover specifically. But if you go through this agenda, as you can see, we have a lot coming up. Please reach out to me and let me know if one, you're interested in supporting, or if you have any questions about any of them. Some important information. We closed out the month of March. And we only had 4 responses, 4 disaster action team responses, 2 in Washoe County in Reno, 1 in Carson City, and 1 in Lyon County. So pretty slow month for a winter month for disaster action team calls. But we've had a pretty mild winter, and that's what I'm going to attribute it to. Otherwise, I don't know. But we've opened 4 cases for those 4 responses and given out $2,505 in assistance and supported 14 people. 7 responders went out on those 4 calls, which is incredible because it means a lot of our team is contributing to our responses. It's not just those same folks going out over and over. But I want to say a big thank you to Alex, who went out on a couple of calls, Susie Askew, Sherry Reisinger, Rick Yatuma, Lou Schwartz, Robin Stone, and Mike Algeier. Thank you guys for going out in the month of March and responding. And thank you, Lou Schwartz and Mike, for kicking off April and going out last night for our very first call out in Silver Springs in the wee morning hours. Our home fire campaign has been really, really busy. Just on the 20th of March, they installed 23 alarms in 8 residents and made 5 residences safer. Should a fire start in their homes, hopefully they'll be able to get out a little bit sooner having those new alarms installed. So this is what it's all about, you guys. The Sound the Alarm events, our home fire campaign, it's about making homes safer and making it so people can get out that much faster should a fire occur at their home, especially those who may have hearing challenges and require those bed shaker or strobe smoke alarms. So our home fire campaign, they go out every Wednesday and every Friday and install smoke detectors throughout Northern Nevada, but primarily in Western Nevada, to those who request them. Let me know if you're interested in joining the team. They can always use more help. And if we get a much bigger team, we can always add a day to that schedule or some weekend dates. So love to have the opportunity to help people before disaster strikes. And that's one of the ways we can do it. Does anyone have any questions about our home fire campaign, what they do, or sound the alarm, or the difference between them? Okay, quiet team today. If you guys want to get the word out about our smoke detector installation program, this is the phone number that anyone can call in Northern Nevada throughout our chapter area to request free smoke detectors. So if you're part of a homeowners association, please share this so they can put it in their newsletter. If you're part of another group, or if you just want to get flyers out to get the word out about our home fire campaign, this is a way we can make all of our communities safer all the time. And it's really easy for us all to get the word out about it. So again, let me know if you have any questions, but here's pretty much the details that you would need to share. Any question before I move on to some things that have happened since our last meeting? Okay. On Thursday, Jim Rich, Jocelyn, and I, we were at a Tahoe Basin evacuation workshop that included a lot of people from the state of California, government agency members, a lot of people from the state of Nevada, all of the counties that Lake Tahoe falls in, along with Nevada County, where Truckee is. And we really talked about the nuts and bolts of what a Tahoe Basin evacuation would look like, especially if another Caldor type fire happened. For those of you who may not have been in the area a couple of years ago, we had a really big fire called the Caldor Fire that started in California. It started on the western slope of the Sierra. And it grew and it grew and it grew, and the winds were so terrible that it had never happened before, but the fire actually crested over the summit and came into the Lake Tahoe Basin and prompted evacuations, first on the California side of the border and then on the Nevada side of the border. And a ton of challenges came out of that response because it had never happened before. There had been a lot of fires, smaller fires that had driven evacuees from fires from California into Nevada, and we've supported them, but never to this scale, and never had all of South Lake been evacuated before. So these workshops were started. The first one happened a couple of years ago. They just had the second one, and it's where all of the agencies who support in those response get together and talk about how we can do it better next time. Most of the after action items that needed attention were around communications and the cross the state coordination and cross county coordination. So it was a really great opportunity to be there in person with Jim and Jocelyn. And then online we had from Red Cross a lady named Janice Winston, who supports with state relations in California, and Jalea Thompson, who supports with state relations in Nevada, who were on the line virtually. If you guys have any interest in supporting those planning efforts or attending those types of workshops in the future, it's really great for those interested in pursuing government operations or community engagement and partnerships. And we'd be happy to bring you onto the team. So let me know, call me, text me, email if you're interested. in supporting, or if you just have any questions about what we discussed at that workshop, because I know a lot of you were impacted by the Caldor fire and the response that went with it. Any questions I can answer right now about that or those efforts? Okay. On the 29th, we had an Arrow Creek evacuation tabletop exercise planning meeting. Tabletop exercises are similar to bigger exercises, except for it's just a lot of people in a room talking about how a response is going to look and talking through very specific scenarios. So Arrow Creek is in Washoe County, and we will be working with their emergency management team, me specifically, to plan a tabletop exercise, but then you as volunteers, especially those who have gaps, group activity positions in mass care, like sheltering, feeding, reunification, or individual disaster care like disaster health services, disaster mental health, or disaster spiritual care, you're probably going to be called upon to participate in that exercise if you would like. I don't know the specific date yet, but as soon as I do, it will be added to our agenda. Those of you interested in supporting in government operations would get an opportunity to see how it really works at an emergency operations center and how those meetings go and those responses go. So please let me know if you're interested when you know the date and when it's available. Yesterday, we had our Utah, Nevada quarterly disaster cycle services meeting at between 5 and 6:30. And what was super exciting is they played the media interview that Betsy Morse gave to one of our local news stations, talking about all of our preparedness programs. And Betsy did an outstanding job talking about our preparedness programs for children that start in kindergarten all the way up to senior citizens, so that we can really help prepare individuals in their planning for disaster response and for disaster preparedness. So if they do have to evacuate, what they need and what they can have on hand and how they can support their community and their local neighbors should a disaster occur. So that was very exciting. And as positive feedback from that, we have received a ton of requests for our presentations in schools and in communities. So if you are interested in helping me take in those requests, call people back, and schedule some of our presentations in our communities, please let me know, because I'm getting really busy with administrative tasks. I'm trying to get those on the calendar, but we want to serve as many communities as we can in making them safer and more prepared. So please let me know. Anyone have any questions about that quarterly disaster cycle services meeting or the media interview that Betsy did? Nope. Okay. All right. Thank you for answering. I appreciate that. This morning, I had a meeting with Pershing County Emergency Management, because they are also going to have a sheltering tabletop exercise coming up in the near future that people will have an opportunity to participate in, especially those supporting mass care. Again, Pershing County, Lovelock area, so a little bit east of Fernley as you're heading towards Winnemucca. Not too far of a drive, but it is a little bit of a distance. Let me know if you're interested in participating in that exercise or in the planning of it. We also had our preparedness work group meeting today, just before this meeting. And it's where we talked about all of the different presentation requests we've been receiving, the presenters who are available to do those, and then the ones we still need to do more planning and follow up on, and outreach we want to do, especially in our DO communities, to do more preparedness presentations and get more of those requests. And I've probably mentioned it a few times already now, DO communities. And so for those of you on the line who are not aware of what our Do communities are, think about it as those areas we've identified as having some vulnerabilities, especially when it comes to disaster preparedness, response, and recovery, should a disaster occur in their area. And the Do communities we've identified in Northern Nevada, where we're really trying to hyper focus some efforts, are Fallon. So you're going to see a lot of things happening out in Fallon. Why they have been identified as one of our Do communities is because there's a large retirement population out in Fallon. A lot of folks are retiring there and moving there from other states that may have had more resources than Nevada has. And so preparedness looks a little bit different here than it does in other places. And we're trying to get people more prepared themselves so that they know what to expect here in Nevada should a disaster occur. It's also a booming area. And so there's a lot of families out there with children who are also considered as being an access and functional need group, primarily because if they have to evacuate, they cannot do it on their own. So those are a couple of the factors that went into us identifying Fallon as one of our Do communities. And Do it's not an acronym for anything, surprisingly, because Red Cross has a bazillion acronyms, but it is, just think about it as those old Nike commercials, just do it. We're just getting in there and doing as much as we can to engage these communities in preparing for disaster themselves and making their communities more resilient. The other area that we've identified as a Do community, and it's kind of Do communities, is the North Valleys area of Washoe County. Why they were identified is for a lot of the same reasons, a lot of retired populations, a lot of working families, and they are really prone in a lot of those areas to wildland fires since they're on that wildland urban interface. So if you hear me talk about Do communities, I'm referring to Fallon and or the North Valleys area of Washington, which is, or Washoe, sorry, which is Lemon Valley, Golden Valley, Sun Valley, the North Valleys area, Hungry Valley, Cold Springs, kind of anything up in that northern vicinity north of Reno. So if you guys are interested in joining that preparedness work group meeting, we have them weekly. That's where we strategize on where we're trying to focus our efforts. We'd love to have you, whether you're a presenter or interested in finding out more about our preparedness programs, or just supporting our preparedness team in those efforts. We would love to have you. Everyone is welcome. So on to that, this is the part of the meeting where I really talk about where we're needing team members most. And really where we're needing a lot of support and focus right now is help with planning these meetings and doing volunteer outreach so that we know all of our volunteers know about these meetings and all of the other opportunities available for them to participate in on a regular basis. So if you're interested in helping me plan these meetings or do volunteer outreach so we can get more people involved and engaged in what we have going on, please let me know. And then I already touched on it, but it's really, I need support in helping me process those preparedness requests. We're getting inquiries online via a web form that we have on our website. We're getting phone calls in to our multiple offices because of the media interview that Betsy did and people saw, along with our other media interviews that we've done. And the other outreach efforts. We've been busier and busier with presentations. And as the word gets out, we get more requests because other partners find out that we do them, which is what we want. But I need help in processing those requests. So if you're interested in supporting administratively in either of those things, please let me know. And I would be so grateful for the support. Does anyone have any questions about those two asks or what the support is needed? Okay. We are going to wind up our meeting a little bit early, you guys. This is 2 weeks in a row, which is pretty exciting for me. Couple of reminders. First, please record your hours. Anything you do Red Cross related counts as hours worked, whether it's attending this meeting, attending a training, going on a DAT call, signing up for a disaster action team shift, or anything else, talking to another community member about Red Cross, talking to another partner organization about Red Cross. It all counts as hours worked. So please enter your hours. I'll show you guys quickly on Volunteer Connection from your home screen. Super easy to enter hours. You just go right here and click Add Hours and fill out the form. If you have any questions about that at any time, please reach out to me and I can support you or show you how to do that. And then the other thing that I touched on briefly is we're getting into spring. Disaster season is coming up. It really officially starts in June with hurricane season that continues on into wildfire season, but springs are super dicey. There have been tornadoes already in the Midwest. For those of you who are not aware, our division, the Southwest and Rocky Mountain Division, covers everything from Nevada all the way to Louisiana. So a lot of tornado country in there. So we might see a lot of disaster responses for tornadoes and then going right into hurricane season. So please update your availability if you would like to deploy, or I can't talk today, would like to deploy to support a disaster relief operation. I'm going to quickly see if there are any opportunities right now for assignment with those tornadoes that occurred in the last few days. So it looks like there is an individual disaster care, disaster mental health service associate position open. Let's see where that is at. I'm guessing Hawaii. It's actually a virtual position. So if anybody is interested in deploying virtually, working from home, it's still about a 12-hour day expectation, but you can do that if you're a disaster mental health volunteer. Also looks like there are some openings for duty officers. Duty officers, again, it's another virtual position that you can do from the comfort of your home. It's usually managed by individual regions. Last night, I was duty officer for the Utah-Nevada region, and I dispatched Mike and Lou when they went out to Silver Springs to help that family who had been displaced by a single-family fire. So if you're interested in either of those positions and you have time available and would like to deploy virtually, let me know. If you have any interest in becoming a duty officer to support the Utah-Nevada region, we always need duty officers. And honestly, it's one of the most fun things to do as a volunteer, as or a staff member, because you get to engage with clients and help them when they're struggling most, and work with our agencies and work with our volunteers. So you're kind of that point of contact for all three. And you can do it from the comfort of your sofa. So if you're interested in learning how to become a duty officer or just checking it out and you want to shadow me when I'm doing it for a shift, let me know. I'd love to have you. Before I move forward, does anyone have any questions, closing remarks, roundtable items, or things they've just been curious about? I'm going to minimize this and see if I see any hands. No hands. Okay, well, thank you guys for attending. Let me go back to sharing my screen. Here we go. The other thing I always invite you guys to, if there are community events you would like Red Cross participation at, let me know. We'll add them to the calendar and we'll see how we can support. Here's the information. Jean Held and my address are here. So we just need to know these basic details, and we'll add it to our calendar and talk about it at this volunteer opportunities meeting. Other things that I'm always asking for volunteer input on is ways that we can engage our board. Our board of directors that we have here in Northern Nevada, they like to participate at things and they like to engage in different things that Disaster Cycle Services is doing. And they have committees and opportunities for our volunteers to support them as well. So if you guys have any ideas or suggestions for requests that we can make to our board of directors, please let me know. I'm not going to read through them. You can read through them, but these are some of the things we've already presented to them in the past that hopefully they're working on supporting us with. So if you have anything else, please let me know and we will add it to the list as well. Upcoming in-person meetings. I already talked about this one that's next week at, I already forgot the name of the Longboard Beach Pizza Kitchen, I believe is what it's called. And then next month, we're going to have our in-person meeting on the 14th at the Winnemucca office, and then back in Reno in June. If you guys are interested in helping me plan or set up for any of those meetings, I would very much appreciate it. Please let me know, reach out, and we'll get you on the calendar. With that, we have 14 minutes left. 13 minutes left. We can talk about anything you guys want to talk about, or we can close out the meeting early. Does anyone have any questions or topics they want to bring up?
Nope.
All right. Thank you, Betsy, for answering. Okay, you guys. Well, you have a wonderful week. I'll see you next week. Again, I'll share this agenda and the video out tomorrow with all of our volunteers. If you have any questions or want to participate in anything that we have coming up, please reach out to me.
Sounds good. Thank you, Sherry.
See you soon.
Bye.
Bye.